Hey, this is Corey from Wolfpack Woodcraft. We're going to be taking a second look at the Brinyte PT18 Pro Oathkeeper. And this flashlight has really changed the way I view flashlights. Now, they sent me this. The only thing they wanted from me is an honest review, and they want me to make a video so that you can leave your honest comments in the comment section also. They want to keep refining this design. And to be completely honest with you, when I first got it, it's a flashlight, right? There's not much that a flashlight can do that any of my other flashlights can't. But as I played with it for the last 2 weeks, as I carried it, I EDC'd it, I used it, I really appreciated all the fine little details of this light, and everything that I would change. In order to change it, I would have to give something up. Okay, so I can't, I really don't have any upgrades to this, because like I said, if I changed it to do something else, I would have to lose what it already does. And the thought process of this thing really blew my mind. Okay, so when you get it, it doesn't come with, it comes with instructions, but there really isn't anything in it. It's just how to get to SOS mode, how to lock everything, how to use the buttons, but there really isn't any instructions on the design of the light, and the design is what blew me away. And so we're going to start at the tail cap and move our way down, and I'm going to show you what I've learned about this light by using it, and the things that I like and the things that I wish was different, but I don't want to give up what it already does. It'll make more sense when we talk about it. So, first thing is the design of these buttons. Now, this is a tactical flashlight, so when I first saw that, I thought it was just there to look cool, because it does look cool, it looks different, it's unique, it's got the 2 buttons. But when I put my hand on it, with my finger in that ring, my thumb naturally rests right there. It's the perfect shape for my thumb. And then depending on if I use the pad of my thumb or like my knuckle, it really lands between those buttons. And so I can turn it on, put it on low, medium, high, turbo, off. I can manipulate these buttons very easily, and I don't have to go this one and this one. I don't have to move my thumb to manipulate those buttons. I don't have to adjust my grip. I can hold it and I can do whatever it is I need to do just by the tail cap. And so that is very handy. Like I said, I thought it was just there to look cool, but it is very, very functional. And not being able to, well, not having to move my thumb or move my grip or move anything to manipulate those buttons really is nice. And so I'm going to strobe it right now, so just be warned, it's going to strobe right now. So I can strobe, I can turn it off, I can strobe, and I can manipulate this very, very easily. So I really like that tail cap. I like that dual button. Moving down, you have the finger ring, and again, it's very large, very comfortable. The thing that I wanted to mention is my dad has large hands. He has big sausage fingers. I say he's got gorilla hands, but he has much bigger fingers than mine. His ring finger fits over, like, is loose on my thumb. So he has much larger fingers than I do, and he was able to manipulate this and put his finger in there with room to spare. And so this ring is large. So I really appreciate that as well. The other thing that I noticed about this ring is the claw, I guess we'll call it. It doesn't come out straight. It's got like a curve to it. And so that didn't make sense to me at first, because if you were going to use this in a tactical situation, you would think it would want to be straight out so that it could do something. And then I started thinking maybe it's for like scraping, which does hurt. But there is a curve to it, and that curve is the exact same as the ring. And so when I put my finger on top of there, that really locks in my hand. And so when I got to actually thinking about it, if I hold it like this, it turns in my hand. But by having my finger up here, it allows it to lever up, locking it into my hand, and it also prevents it from turning in my hand, having my finger up on that ring. And so obviously, if my finger is in that ring, and something were to happen, if this were to catch on something, especially this way, it could snap my finger easily. Like it could easily break my finger. And so by having it on top here, you eliminate that risk. And so I really like how comfortable that is and how easy it is to apply pressure and lock that thing into my hand even without having it in that finger ring. So I really like that as well. It didn't make sense at first, but now I really appreciate it a lot. And so that is very cool. And like I said, you can remove this. In the unboxing video I said this is completely removable. You don't have to have this ring on here. You can remove it. That's not a big deal. Moving down, we have the tactical ring. That's what they call it. And this tactical ring is where my first complaint is, because it is comfortable. All right, so it is, I like it. It is comfortable, but it's more comfortable flipped over. And so if you take it off, and here, let's talk about this. If you remove this and this, if you remove the tactical ring and the finger ring, you can put it together and just have it like that. Or you can just have the tactical ring and leave the finger ring out. But it's more comfortable if you flip it over. If you flip it over, it puts the round side on the end. And then if you put the finger groove or the finger ring back on, this becomes much more comfortable, way more comfortable. Problem is you lose access to your back buttons. So you can see that the side button still works, but these buttons no longer work. And so at first I was like, I wish I could flip that over and just have it like this. Like I said, it is comfortable the other way. It's just more comfortable this way. But this is how you lock the tail switch. And so if you're going to throw this in a backpack, if you're going to be traveling over distance and it's in a suitcase or it's in something, this is how you would lock those buttons. And so again, this is one of those things where if I change it, I lose a function. And is that little bit more comfort worth not being able to lock these tail buttons? I don't know. I don't know. So that's my first complaint, but I kind of like it the way it is, because again, if I was going to travel over distance, this side button locks, and then flipping that tactical cap over, these lock. And so yeah, it's a trade-off, and it's one that I think it's better the way it is than not. The other thing is if you take the tactical ring off and just have the finger ring on here, the finger ring falls down, and so it doesn't stay put. You have to have, if you're going to use the finger ring, you have to have the tactical ring on as well. So that's something that I would mention. And so putting it on the correct way so that I have access to the buttons. There. So now I have access to the tail cap buttons again. So I don't know. It is what it is. That's also where the lanyard, if you want to attach a lanyard, there's a hole in that tactical ring for that as well. And so if you remove that, you remove your ability to use a lanyard. And so again, it's comfortable with it there. It's just a tiny bit more comfortable. So I think I would keep it the way it is. Moving down, we'll go to the charger. The charging is a magnet. And so you just hook it on there and it automatically finds where it needs to go, because the rest of this is aluminum, and aluminum is not magnetic. The only part that's magnetic is the very center of that charging, and so it's very easy to charge. I was worried about this sliding around and maybe not having full contact, but again, the only magnetic part is exactly in the center, and so this always finds the connection it needs. And so I really, really like that. The other advantage to having it magnetic is if it's charging, let's say it's charging next to your nightstand, or you're in a hotel room and you have it charging next to your nightstand and you hear something, you can grab it and go. And so you're not worrying about ripping the cable out of the wall, damaging anything in the charging cable or the flashlight. You just grab it and go. And I really like that feature as well. Again, the only magnetic part's in the center, so it doesn't slide around. If it does slide around, it'll fall off, but it does a really good job at staying put, and I really like that a lot. Moving over to the button, this again is where I have some slight issues. The main thing about the button here is after 60 seconds, so 1 minute, the side button locks. So if I were to use the side button right now, it would just flash green and it's not going to work. I have to triple press it to unlock it, or I have to use the back cap and have it on for at least 5 seconds for the side switch to unlock, which is nice. I really like that feature. I like that it locks and I don't have to worry about it, and I can easily unlock it. And to be completely honest with you, if I have to use it, I'm usually using the tail switches anyway. But the side switch just is nice. If I put it on low, the side switch will turn it on low. So the side switch has a memory, which makes it really handy at night when you don't want to blind everyone at 2,000 lumens. You can use that side switch and use it as a normal flashlight. And so you don't use it all the time, and so I like that it's locked most of the time. But the thing is there's a real dim green light that indicates that it's locked. And so that green light's on all the time. If you're not using it, after 60 seconds, there's a faint little green light that's on. And I was like, I didn't like that. At first, I didn't like it at all, because that means it's draining your battery. If you sit this down and you don't come back for a month, your battery's going to be dead, because that little green light is, even though it's not bright, even though it's not taking a lot of battery power to use, it's still draining your battery all the time. And so that was something that originally I was like, I don't like that. But when it's dark, when they're looking for it, having that little green light, it is super easy to find. And if it was pitch black, you could still find it because you always have that little green light. If I set that down, all I have to do is find that little green light and I can find my flashlight. It's like a beacon to it, you know what I mean? And so if the power went out, which the power did go out a few days ago, you can still find this flashlight because, again, it gives off that green light. And so yes, this is a tactical flashlight, but you can tell that when they designed a lot of the features, they designed them in a way to where even if it's pitch black, you can still find and use your flashlight, which I really appreciate. And so if you lose that little green light, yes, you can preserve the battery, but you lose the ability to find it. And so again, it's not an upgrade, it's just a trade-off for me. The other thing about that button is the location. And so if I'm holding the flashlight, I can hold it in my right hand like a normal flashlight, manipulate it, and I got a really good grip on it. This thing's not going anywhere. But if you're left-handed, that finger ring is right in the way, right? And so you kind of got to put your pinky through the finger ring and hold it on its side like this. And if it catches on something, it's very hard to hold it like this with the positioning of the button, the way you're holding it. You don't have as firm of a grip on it. And at first, again, from being inexperienced with the light, there's a logo right here. And in my mind, I was like, why didn't they put the button right there? Because then I could hold it in my right hand with my pinky in there, or I could hold it with my left hand with my pinky, and it'd be exactly the same grip, both hands. But experience taught me, if I hold that button straight up in the air, you probably can't see, but the finger hole is tilted a little bit, right? Just a little bit. And what that does is when I set it down, it sets down on that finger ring, and it takes that green light and it points it straight up in the air. meaning I can see that green light 360 degrees around it. And so if I put it up this way and I'm standing anywhere over here, I can't see that green light. I have to be standing over here. But if I lay it down on the finger ring, that green light's straight up in the air and I can see it from anywhere. And I make sure when I set this down, I always set it green light up, because it makes it extremely easy to find. Even when it's not dark out, just having that little green light catches your eye as you walk by it, and it's just one of those things that makes it that much, everything on this light is done for a reason. Yes, again, it's not going to be as comfortable and convenient to carry over with your left hand, but you're going to have to do it with your right hand. And so again, it's not an upgrade. Moving the button wouldn't make it better. You would lose one thing to gain another. And so keep that in mind as well. The other thing is the SOS mode is on the side switch. And so you turn the flashlight on. Here, I'll show you. Alright, so I unlocked it. You turn it on, and then you double press for strobe, double press for SOS, and then press to turn it back to normal. And then you press and hold, turn it off. And so for me personally, the SOS mode, for me it's far easier. SOS, right? Instead of, if there's something I need to get attention, I don't want to sit here and go through a bunch of modes to do it. I'm just going to SOS. You know what I mean? And so, and plus you have the full 2000 lumens to signal. So I don't really care about the SOS mode. Maybe you guys do. Let me know in the comment section down below. And then after that we have the bezel, the strike bezel. It's not really a strike bezel. Yes, it does have little things, but it's mostly so that you don't scratch the glass when you set it down. I don't think striking anybody with that bezel would be any different than hitting them with just an aluminum flashlight, but it does make it so that it stands up a little bit when you set it down on its face, and so it's not going to scratch the glass. And that is the flashlight itself. Now let's talk about the pocket clip. This part is, again, one of those things where I can't upgrade it, but there is two ways of looking at it. Usually when it comes to pocket clips, I pick one or the other. It's either going to have the pocket clip on it or it is not, because it's a pain in the butt to put these things on and off. This one is very easy to put on and take off. It's very easy to swing around to one side or the other side. It's very, very easy. And so when I was EDCing it, I was EDCing it in my left pocket, because that's where I always carry my flashlight, and I had it tilted towards my body. And the thing I was looking for is I didn't want this finger claw, what we decided to call it, to dig into my side. And what I found is it does not at all. But because this pocket clip is so loose, when I go to grab something out of my pocket, like my phone or my wallet, it spins. And it's really nice because it gets out of the way, but it ends up pulling my shirt out. So it doesn't do it way up here, but I have this little thing poking out the side of my shirt, and then I have to move it back. And then I'll grab something in my pocket, and then it'll swing out all the way. And then I have to move it back because I have this lump coming out of the side of my shirt. And so initially, again, I was like, I wish that was stiffer so that it would stay in place. Problem with that, again, is because it swings out of the way, I can easily grab whatever I need to grab on my pocket. I can grab my phone, my wallet, whatever it is. If this was rigid, the finger hole, the finger thing would get in the way. I wouldn't be able to get my phone out of my pocket as easy. I wouldn't be able to get my wallet out of my phone as easy. And so this finger hole here, it's nice that it gets out of the way. It's a super nice, well thought out feature with this pocket clip to make sure that thing can get out of the way so I can grab whatever is in my pocket. But again, you're constantly moving it back. Every single time you grab something out of your pocket, you're going to have to remember to put that back. And so, to be completely honest with you, I EDC'd it for a few days, but it's too big to EDC, so I just left the pocket clip off. But it is doable. I did do it. It's just you have to remember to always swing it back. What's next? The charging. Let's talk about the charging cable. The cable itself is braided, and I have it here because you know how I talked about that little green light and about how easy it is to find because of that green light. Well, you can tell that they kept that same mentality of manipulating and using your flashlight in the pitch black. Okay, if it's pitch black, the little green light allows you to find your flashlight. If your flashlight is completely dead, that green light's not going to be on, but it doesn't matter because the charging cable itself has a little blue light. And so I can use that blue light to find the charging, right? And so that makes it super cool. Just being able to shine that blue light and find, because the power button and the power outlet look a lot alike. They look very, very similar. And so be able to shine this blue light on the end of the power cable to see if it's the button or the charger makes charging this thing super easy, even in the pitch black. Even if you are 100 feet underground in a bunker and there's no power except for this little power bank, I can easily still charge this flashlight, and I can even use it while it's on, but it's going to be at a much lower lumen. So even as it's charging, you can use it, but it's not going to go into low, medium, high, and turbo. It's just going to stay at a very, very low lumen level. So again, if you're in the pitch black, you're going to be able to use this to find that, and then you can still use your flashlight like this in very low setting to maybe find a breaker, find something else, even if this is dead. And so I really like that. Another thing that I want to do is I have the power bank, and so it's just a USB cord. I can pull this very easily off of there. So again, if it's on the nightstand, if it's next to you and you have to grab it and go, you can grab it and go, and you don't have to worry about anything breaking, any power or anything ripping out of the wall, anything breaking inside of here. It's all very much contained. The other thing is it's big, so I know a lot of you wanted to talk about the holster. I did not use the holster. I'm not a big holster guy. I don't like having big things on my belt. But this does fit in there very well. Oops. The tail cap sticks out the top. There's a hole on the bottom, so you can still use it even with the holster on it. You can still manipulate all the buttons, do everything. There's a little groove cut out here for the finger hole, and so it works. It does its job. I mentioned in the unboxing that these side pockets might be able to fit a lighter. They do fit a Bic lighter. So I can put a Bic lighter in there. You can put whatever it is you want in there. Both sides are the same. So I can put a Bic lighter on both sides if you want. But it is big enough. That's about as big as it is. I don't think you can fit anything bigger than a Bic, but it does fit a Bic lighter. Yeah, it's very plain, simple holster. Does the job. The next thing that comes with it is this lanyard, this paracord lanyard, and this attaches to the tactical ring. And this does fit around my neck as is, but barely. Okay, so I can carry this around my neck, and I can take it off just barely, but you could undo a few of these loops, and if you undid a few of these loops, it'd fit your head very easily. And then last but not least, the last thing that I wanted to mention was the instructions are put together with this little lanyard, and that does fit on there as well. So if you want something smaller than that big paracord thing, you can use this little black piece that comes with the instructions, and that fits on there as well. So you can use this little tiny lanyard instead of the paracord one that they bring. And so again, this thing is just over engineered, and they're still looking for more commentary. And so get in that comment section, tell them exactly what you think, tell them what you like about it, what you don't like about it, what you would change, what you appreciate about it. And this is my new favorite flashlight. I like it a lot. I'm thinking about buying another one actually, because I would prefer to have one in black. But this one, this is my go-to. This is the one that I keep on the end table here. And I always, when the power went out, I could easily find it because of that green light. It was bright enough to see everything I needed to see. It's easy to manipulate. It's easy to use. It does everything you would expect it to do comfortably, reliably. I really like this one. So thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you on my next video.